You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.
The options market can be a confusing place. Sorting through the daily avalanche of data, alerts, updates, articles, and analysis to find the most important information is an overwhelming prospect. But now you have help. Welcome to the Options News Rundown, the only program that breaks through the noise to bring you the most important news and information from the world of options. Every day we bring you the top 5 option stories curated by the options experts at theoptionsinsider.com, the premier source for free options information. The Options News Rundown is brought to you by Market Taker Mentoring, the leader in option trader education. Get trader education, daily trade ideas, and more with a free 1-week trial of Market Taker Mentoring's live Advantage group coaching class by visiting markettaker.com/insider. And now it's time to break through the noise. It's time for your Options News Rundown.
Good morning. Today is Friday, June 15th, 2018. This is your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli. Our first story today is from investing.com. It's the top 5 things to know in the market on Friday. The first thing to know is trade tensions are in focus as Trump prepares more tariffs for China. China vowed on Friday to strike back quickly if the United States hurts its interests, hours before U.S. President Donald Trump was due to unveil revisions to a tariff list targeting $50 billion worth of Chinese goods. Washington and Beijing appeared to be increasingly headed towards a trade war after several rounds of negotiations failed to resolve U.S. complaints over Chinese industry policy, market access, and a $375 billion trade gap. If the United States takes unilateral protectionist measures harming China's interests, we will quickly react and take necessary steps to resolutely protect our fair, legitimate rights, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Geng Shuang told a regular daily news briefing. Trump was due to give details later on Friday of a revised list of 800 product categories from 1,300. That's down from 1,300, according to an administration official and an industry source familiar with the list. The tariffs would raise the prospect of a global trade war as the United States' other trading partners, such as the EU and Canada, have recently vowed to retaliate with countermeasures to the U.S.'s tariffs on imported steel and aluminum. The second thing to know today is there's a data downpour to round off the week. A regional U.S. manufacturing report, consumer sentiment, and industrial production will round off this week's release of top-tier economic data. Michigan's Consumer Expectations Index, due 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern, is expected to show a preliminary reading of 89.7 for June, while consumer sentiment is forecast to show a preliminary reading of 98.5 for June, up from a reading of 98 last month. The New York Fed's Empire State Manufacturing Index at 8:30 a.m. Eastern is expected to show a drop in June compared to the previous month. Meanwhile, industrial production is forecast to have edged towards 0.2% in May, in what would be its 4th consecutive month of expansion. The reports could further strengthen the narrative of a strong U.S. economy, which Fed Chairman Powell said was in great shape during a press conference earlier this week. Third thing to know is the euro is headed for biggest weekly decline in 18 months. The euro on Friday was headed for its worst weekly loss in 19 months, after a cautious European Central Bank signaled it will keep interest rates at record lows well into next year. Fourth thing to know is oil heads lower with U.S. production on tap. Oil prices headed lower on Friday as market participants awaited the weekly installment of U.S. drilling activity. Baker Hughes data showed last week that U.S. drillers added one oil rig last week, bringing the total count to 862, the highest number since March of 2015. And the fifth thing to note today is Bank of Japan goes against the central bank trend and holds steady on lower inflation outlook. The Bank of Japan on Friday downgraded its view on inflation in a fresh blow to its long-held 2% price goal, giving the central bank barely any room to maneuver as it tries to map a path to roll back its crisis-era stimulus. As widely expected, the Bank of Japan maintained its ultra-loose monetary policy, keeping its short-term interest rate target at minus 0.1% and a pledge to guide 10-year government bond yields around 0%. Our second story today is from NASDAQ.com. Bitcoin and Ethereum rally on SEC News while the charts remain negative. Bitcoin and Ethereum prices rally on SEC classification. According to the SEC's William Hinman, the two largest cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin and Ether, are not securities, but many ICOs are securities, and they will fall under U.S. securities regulations. The BTC and ETH ruling mean these tokens are allowed to be traded on unregulated exchanges, while many ICOs struggle to find exchanges willing to host them. Bitcoin and Ether rallied on the news, but the market remains negative overall. The CFTC is investigating the cryptocurrency market over claims of market manipulation, while the role of Tether is also under the microscope. Bitcoin's pullback to a current level of $65.70 still leaves the token over $1,000 lower than prices seen last Sunday and below the 20, 50, and 200-day moving averages. That's a negative setup. Bitcoin is also battling various resistance levels, previously support levels, and needs to make a clean break above the $7,050 to $7,250 zone to regain bullish sentiment. A move below Wednesday's low of 61.30 opens the way to 5,932 and 5,622. Our final story today is from MarketWatch.com. Gold retreats after booking highest close in a month, set for weekly loss. Gold futures on Friday pulled back from the highest close in about a month as the U.S. dollar held on to firm gains against rival currencies, weighing on assets pegged to the monetary unit. August gold slipped by $6.60 or 0.5% to $13.0170 an ounce after hitting its highest level since mid to late May, according to FactSet data. The yellow metal, however, was holding ground above the psychologically significant level of 1,300 a day after the European Central Bank spelled the end of its easy money policies, but did so at a more cautious pace than had been anticipated, driving the euro on Thursday to its worst one-day loss against the greenbacks since 2016. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is news you can use for today, Friday, June 15th, 2018, your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli, trade smart, and have a great weekend.
Thank you for listening to the Options News Rundown. To learn more about these stories or any other developments from the world of options, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com, the premier source for free options information. The Options News Rundown is brought to you by Market Taker Mentoring, the leader in option trader education. Get trader education, daily trade ideas, and more with a free one-week trial of Market Taker Mentoring's live Advantage group coaching class by visiting markettaker.com/insider.
The preceding program was a production of the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions@theoptionsinsider.com.